So right now on the side, I have Discord open, and I'm working with Midjourney right now. I'm doing some artwork generation. I use Midjourney a lot for kind of brainstorming and kind of thinking of artworks to kind of learn off of. So what I'm doing right now is just trying to get some kind of practice sketches going. And that's what I've got going right here. That's kind of cool. I need to widen the aspect ratio on this. Let's do this actually so you guys can see. Let me flip it over. I'm going to go to scene 1 so you guys can see. And then for the YouTube, where's my vertical? I see my vertical, but vertical scene selection, transition. Let's see. Let's go to view. There it is. No. All right, now my vertical went away. Now I want to see it. Vertical. Perfect. And then scenes. There it is. Have I really never made it that new scene? Let's make it real quick. Let's do. Okay. Pull in some new sources. Now YouTube can see me. Alright, so I got my little platformer game. And then I'm going to go full display on Discord. Alright, so this is what I pulled up earlier. And it's just a little practice sketchbook. And right now the problem I have is with this aspect ratio. I usually use a standard 9:16 on my aspect ratio because I don't like the 1:1. So it frames things better when you're trying to do kind of character design and stuff. And so it'll get more busts or better facial structures and framing with a 9:16. And then if you need a more like cinematic view, I use the 16:9 or the 2:1 and kind of really stretch a nice wide angle but flat, really cinematic look. But for most character design, I usually all 9:16. It's kind of your phone kind of display size image. So it's too narrow. It's cutting off the page. So I think I'm going to turn it sideways. So pretty much copy this with the aspect ratio and then re-input it on the text. And for Midjourney, you have to do imagine. I can't spell. And then I already copied my prompt. And I just need to change the aspect ratio at the end. And to add in aspect ratio, all you have to do is add in this little bit. So with Midjourney, the standard aspect ratio is 1:1. So no matter what I type in for the prompt, and I can say cute dogs. Once I hit enter, it's gonna it'll take a minute, but so right now you see 0, and then it tells you, oh, here it comes. It tells you how much percentage is completed and then what mode it's in. So fast, slow, or whatever. I think there's one other variable, but most of your standard inputs all go to fast gen. So boom, here's cute dogs. And also I have my kind of standard setting is version 5.2. And if I needed to change that, it would be go back to the prompt, and instead of imagine, you just do settings. And then you can type in settings. And what that does is should pull up the settings tab. It did nothing. Okay, so so if you look back, cute dogs is a 1:1 aspect ratio. And so it's a good image, but depending on what style you're going for, sometimes you might widen out the image or to zoom in or do something different. It drastically changes the way everything's laid out overall. What your subject in the image might be doing. For instance, it's like scenes and stuff like this. Usually people like to do wide aspect ratios because they want to see a lot of different stuff, and so they keep it nice and wide so you can see. But once you go into the character, normally you want to go zoomed in. So this is where they kind of either tall or short, depending on what's going on. This one they went with a standard 1:1, but this would look a lot, in my opinion, it would look a whole lot better if they widened it out, because it allowed the computer and the AI to generate so much more to the body of the landscape. So, I mean, I can take the same thing. I can steal it from this guy, copy that, and I'll do that for you guys. Imagine, and then sci-fi fantasy print, and then just with a simple tac AR for aspect ratio, space. I made this mistake several times, and so if you don't, it gives you an error. And then you just pick in your aspect ratio, and after a while you kind of memorize them. So your first number is your width, and your second number after the colon is going to be your height, essentially. So for a narrow and tall image, tall kind of tall skinny aspect ratio setup, you need a small front number and then a tall end number, or a higher end number. So I'll show you what the same thing does. So for this one, to do what I talked about, we're going to go with a wide aspect ratio. So I'm going to go 2 to 1. So it's going to be a 2 width for every 1 height, essentially, for a ratio. And so I'll generate that. That'll take some time. And then do the exact same thing. And then I'll do the opposite. So now I'm going to give it an aspect ratio of 1 to 2. And it's going to be tall and skinny. Let's go back. Oh, not OBS. Discord. There we go. All right, so sci-fi. So remember the sci-fi image we just did? Here's the wide setup. So pulled back, very epic landscapes in the back. There's a little bit of close-up on this one, but it would have set a character drop to the right. But if you see the style-wise, what it does is it wants to really pull back just on its own with very, very little input. And then once we go to the more vertical aspect ratio, see how it frames out this woman right here? Same on the image 1, 2, and 3. Did a very wide, kind of pulled back look, but it keeps it Vero. And so now you see these very tall, kind of center focal point ends, versus we didn't really have that. If you see where the center focus is, there's kind of this tall building in the far background, but visually wise overall, look at the kind of the setup. This spire only takes up a little bit of space overall, and so you have kind of your focal area right here, and it's very flat. Great for wideness, but you're not going to get that height body. If you look at image number 2, it kind of cuts off everything because we kind of framed out this girl right here. And the same thing, right? This kind of sun looking thing is a lot closer and it kind of gets cut off. Still very wide, more focus on her and her kind of walking up to this thing. But then you change it over. We still kind of have the same walk-up effect. This guy's standing on the bottom of the ocean with fish effect. So knowing that what you want going in really, really helps. Look off this number 2 image. We have a lot of height. The building overall is kind of relatively short, but you had this space thing going above it, and there's all these layers, and then this long little river kind of drawing your eyes. So you have this long kind of focal, and then uses all the space in the image. And the same thing with this one right here, uses all the space, and that's just random. And now we can actually, I'm gonna do that. So now it'll blow that up. And so like this woman right here with this baby, Mother's Day mom and baby pencils. Great prompt. I like this style of S750. Copy it, steal another image. Let's just change the aspect ratio. Instead of a 1:1, let's do, I think it'll look good in a 9:16. Remember, skinny or small numbers at the front lead to tall images. Okay. Let's see how different it changes. This is a cool one. Kind of cuts off her glasses. Let's see. Other cool little tricks and tips you got from Midjourneys. You can actually zoom out. So you have a zoom out 1.5 and a zoom 2x. And it kind of pulls way back and it adds in more fill. Yoko, so very strong, very subtle. Drastically kind of changes the image a little bit. Very strong is pretty good. It usually takes the kind of the same color tones with the same kind of color palette and the clothing dynamics, but drastically changes the look and the hair and the actual facial features. Versus very subtle, will actually keep most of this woman, but just change like the way her hair flows or the way her shirt might crumples. Instead of this strap right here, it'll probably be like two buckles and like maybe a strap going across. That's just kind of coming from experience. And we can hit vary region, and actually pulls up this image, and I can actually kind of halo highlight, and I can say change, just drag it. This region right here and submit that, and it'll probably change her face the next time. This is another popular thing people do is they'll take, this is a random prompt, I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but it gives you this, and this anime style is essentially this one little keyword. So no matter what you put all in here, if you add in Niji 5, it'll flip it into Japanese anime. So these are images that kind of people photo bash into their prompts. So here's a swimmer guy in a sauna, and then here, what else do you do? I don't want to see. Here's a guy, here's a face. So obviously trying to bring in some kind of character styles. And let's see what else he got. Photo bash, another muscles. So he put in muscles, a face, and then a sauna, and it got this kind of swimmer setup, and then he added all these other keywords. And you didn't need this much. After I generate the images, I'll show you another kind of cool little trick. So here's the woman with the baby. And see how drastically it, in my opinion, with that one little kind of portraiture style, a 9x16 does way better. It got, let's see, pull these up side by side. So very cute and elegant, but very, very standard, kind of keeps all the interest right in the center and takes away from the other elements. So now, when you go with the higher aspect ratio, now all of a sudden she's holding the baby. The baby's a little bit lower. It's not so side by side, so closed up just on their face. You see more of their bodies. They're posing together, holding flowers and stuff like this. And so that's really cool. And we can, what other things can we do? Let's see, it's Mother's Day, better style, 2025. We can baby pencil drawing, high quality. Let's see, we can actually break up some of the words. I have to take a break. Oh, here's that zoomed out. Same images from before, but zooming out takes the image, adds in other effects. So I'm guessing from about here to here was the original image, and then it added in all this body, this kind of circular motion. You change the pants. You see the pants and everything's all different from the forearms to the circle blue areas, and it filled in all these different areas, getting kind of creative. And then I can hit another, expand another, and do no zoom out if needed. Here's a variation strong. See different women, different poses, different looks, similar color palette, and very kind of similar setting and kind of styles, but the actual things involved in the image are very dynamic, and that's what you get with the very strong versus very subtle. You keep with the same pose, the same woman, the same kind of facial features, same color palette, and it just changes different variations of like what's nearby. See how the headsets all are different, hair flows slightly different, the bust and the body palm positions and the proportions are all the same, but the clothing elements in between are slightly different. All looking the same way simultaneously too. See the eye line and the head all looking at that upper, and that's what you get with the very subtle versus very strong. You get different looks. Never seen a. Now I'm gonna come back to this one. Let me go take a break and feed my baby in the next one, and I will be right back. And I'm back. Change mine. Here we go. For the YouTubers. Nope. Crying again. And I'm back. Alright, back to what I was talking about. So, don't want these guys. Let me do this. Here we go. Now, the community showcase page. So you can do a couple of different things. What I like to do sometimes is scroll right here. It's really pretty eyes and it's really cool close up, red lips, and kind of looking through and look at a piece of glass in the car or something in the rain. That's kind of cool effect. I could just straight take this prompt, or I can, I'm not logged in, it's not letting me do anything. Right. Now let me do it. Used to, oh, there we go. Blend showcase. Here we go. So notice how these don't necessarily have the prompt. It just has the person and the images themselves. So I can select these, and I don't know anything about this guy. So I could photo bash it, which would be a simple little process. That's kind of cool. Here we go, Warhammer. Let's do Warhammer. So we have this Warhammer character. All I know is just the story plot, but I don't know anything stylistic wise about this specific image. So what I can do is first just open it up in a browser window. Okay. And then I can then save it. Okay, I'm gonna put it, just let me put it on my desktop or something, and I'll call it Warhammer Dude 1. Okay, Warhammer Dude 1. So then I go back to Midjourney and go back to picking any of the general image gen spots. I like Gen 20 for some reason, just my thing. I always just find myself here. And then what I'll do is I can either add it Warhammer Dude, where'd you go? Did I not put you on my desktop? There he is. Okay, I can load him in. Okay, where he goes is essentially in the very, very bottom. So scroll, scroll, scroll. Okay, so this is not an image gen, this is just a load. So what I can do then, Actually, I can load him, or I can do this. Okay. And then I guess since he's loaded, I can essentially reopen him, essentially. And I'll take his HTTP address, copy that, go back to Midjourney, and then I'll drop him in. And then that is that specific image, and it's essentially a web page for that image that Midjourney created. So now any prompt I build on top, it's going to insert and inject Warhammer guy into the image. So what I can do is add in extra layers of prompting into it. So let's see, let's do Warhammer dude. Okay, soldier in a battlefield. Actually, let's just see what that does first. And let's just change the aspect ratio. And fuck it, let's see what Niji does. Okay, so we're going to take that image. Oop, I typed it wrong. Stop it. This is the one problem about being in the open site is you lose your kind of space. It's becoming less popular at the times I use it, but it still gets crazy, hectic, busy, and it drives me crazy losing. This is cool. I snag a lot of art. I shouldn't, but I do it. What happens is essentially when I hit any of these buttons on someone else's picture, it's essentially generating the image under my my money, and then it puts it into my portfolio. So I might do nothing with that image, but it's saved as a generation under my name. So you can see this, and it shows me under my name. So at Bullis right here. And there it is for me. And then I can do whatever I want. So could they. But now if I go to my portfolio, this will be there. But let's go back to the Warhammer guy since we lost it. See if we can find it. Here we go. Copy. Okay, what did we do wrong with the Niji? It said Niji. Oh, it's because of the image. I essentially have to add in a single word. So let me do. Let's just do that. So now it's just taking Warhammer, AR9, and Nijifying it and adding it in. And I'll show you what this one keyword does by itself without the image. Let's see if it's drastically different. So no image, and get rid of that. See how drastically different. We'll see what we come up with. Now, what people do with this is essentially add in their own effects. So we're already seeing this little trend. You're seeing these little black bars add in, and that's due to the aspect ratio in two separate images. This is pulled back up. This is a 1-to-1 square. And it's lengthening it, and so it's taking all this black, and it's actually seeing the black in the image itself and adding in some extra. Versus So let's see if we can find our image. Scroll. Nope. There we go. Going back down. So here's our photo bashed image. Okay. So took this with skulls and this and white and ran with it, and so kept the same color palette and similar layout and just kind of blended it in there. Notice how the guy's the same haircut, similar facial features, similar things. So it took the picture, figured out what the picture was, and then regenerated another image with the addition of the keywords. And so for this, I didn't do much aside from just saying Warhammer. But going back to the second one we generated, let's see if we can find. So Warhammer as its own little individual keyword is just one word. It's a little bit too specific, too broad. So let's see what it did. Here's Warhammer with no other added effects. So see, this is regen, it's going to do different stuff. Versus if I go up top, do regen of this, it's going to keep that one image as its primary. I'm trying to make like Tolkien Jesus or something right here. I don't know what's going on here. Here's another photo bash coming up pretty quick, and then see if our Warhammer generated. Yeah, earlier, but the different versions are essentially different AI models that you can utilize at different moments. And all you have to do is just similar to the tac. All you have to do is do tac version V4 or V5, 5.1, 5.2, or version 3. Now 3 and 4 are kind of garbage. 3 was the first one I started using, but at this point I used 5.2 for everything. It's got a lot cleaner lines and a lot kind of deeper art base and kind of does things a lot cleaner versus 3 and 4 were very stylistic, did things differently, and hands and abs and body features were really garbage. But when it comes to human things, I like sticking with V 5.2. Just does facial features a whole hell of a lot better. Like V5 really started figuring out hands and what to do with arms. Version 3, a lot of character design stuff. You would come up with like 5 legs doing things, and it was all crisscross, and hands had 20 fingers on hands, all mangled up. Sometimes eyes were cross-eyed or just kind of didn't have pupils and things like that. But the style, the art was really cool. Alright, so let's go back to the Warhammer stuff. Scrolling down. I'm moving really fast, so sometimes I catch myself just kind of looking at all the kind of cool things that people think of. A lot of this is the same prompts. That what people are doing are just rehashing it over and over again to kind of really fine tune what it is they're looking for. They'll change like one specific keyword to kind of get the different stuff, or do what I was doing, which was generate one image from one of the sources and then kind of run with one source as its own thing. Like this, if I was not the others. Not saying that they're not great art styles, but if my character design called for like this blonde right here, all I do is just hit U3 and it's going to generate that one image, and every single time I make a change, I'm going to use that one as my specific. Now here's the Warhammer keyword as my second generation. And again, drastically different look just by leaving out that photo bashed image. Now I've been just calling it photo bash. It's just dropping a photo into a prompt for it to use as a reference instead of just keywords. But notice how Warhammer is way too broad, way too specific. Now I can focus it from there, but with just those three elements, aspect ratio and manga and Warhammer, the AI doesn't know enough of what specifically I want, so it's just going to give me a bunch of different stuff. Now with the one keyword and then the one image, it sticks to one specific style. So changes the color palette, but it keeps the one gray armor with the skulls. Keeps it relatively the same haircut, same looking guy, same proportions. But if I added more keywords on top of that, it would drastically change. So that's one style feature. That's really cool. What are they doing? I think before I get back to video gaming, I'm going to cover one last thing. I was going to talk about the describe function. And in order to do that, I have to go back. Do I want to do that? So I was talking about, what got me on this tangent. So the photo bash technique is one way of, let's pull it up. Is one way you're able to see something if you don't have a prompt. Photo bash it in, try to get Midjourney to recreate what you see if you don't know the keywords. Another thing you can do is essentially so imagine is my image create function. But if let's say I wanted for you to describe, which is really cool. Describe, I can pull an image and it'll write the prompt for me. So I'm going to just load any of my images. So this is my desktop. Pull that same dude. Okay, so I have it called it's Warhammer dude. The AI doesn't know anything about this picture aside from the looking at the picture itself. And when I hit enter twice, give it a second, it's right here thinking, it's going to make its own prompt for me. And so that's what it did here. This image to Midjourney is kind of a different, these are 4 different variations of what it thinks this is. And what I like to do is usually I like to save these in a word processor if I really like this image, and I'll take like the best one after generating them. So I can say generate one and cancel. I'll just do image all. So this is going to imagine all. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then individually reimagine them and see how close it comes up. So it's processing 4 jobs right now. And here's them going through. So this is a group of Space Marines. Okay, so this is the first one. And I'm guessing this is 2, this is 3, and this is, they didn't do 4. It's probably waiting. Four of the 5. This guy's wrestling an alligator, that's cool. Alright. So it's worked on. So here we go. The first one. So here's the first batch. Kind of close. Not too bad. It's really cool, but it's not the image. It's not going to get it right, but I like using to describe to see like what it comes up with and kind of recreating. And what I like to do is like to use the keywords out of it to see what it does. And also from describe kind of shows you that your description prompts don't have to be super long. The AI doesn't care. Kind of, it'll take most of the words, but once it gets to a certain length, obviously this some odd, let's see if I were to count it, it's probably 25-ish keywords, right? So this keeps it super focused and thing. Midjourney won't create anything smaller than about 25 keywords, and it won't really go anything over. So it'll keep it 25 to 30 keywords. And this is what it makes. So this is the way it kind of thinks, is your character designs don't have to be super elaborate, but you got to be super specific on your wording, right? So like this guy right here, I'm sure it'll generate a great image, but you can, the software doesn't need anything elaborate, right? Just be very specific. Now, number 4 is drastically different. It's cool. I think that's freaking sweet. This is like a Spawn-like character. I'm gonna blow these up. Now it's getting away from what was originally prompted, but this is the kind of the fun you get to play with describe. It's like you take one thing, you have it describe, you get new prompts, new descriptions, and this is how another brainstorming way of like rethinking new things. Like, here's an image, I don't know what keywords to use, let me see what describe produces, and then go from there, extrapolate and extract all the keywords, pull out the subject that you don't like and the adjectives that you do, and just play. Going back to the top, I'm going to, do I want to upscale any of these? Apply upscale 3. So if you're new to Midjourney, when I'm talking about upscale, these are the little numbers. So each one of these images is numbered, and it starts from top left quadrant, it goes from 1, and just like reading a book, it goes to right, left to right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so when I hit U1, that's essentially upscaling, which is going to make that one image independently. And V1 would make variations, like another four layered tile of that specific image, right? Same prompt, similar style, but it's more kind of making specifics on that one image. Kind of going back to what we did with the other earlier images when I was talking about like using variations. That's this V. Variations is V. So if you ever hear me counting out which image I'm talking about, you know, if I'm numbering it, I'm calling out my favorite image out of this little tile, and then I'm usually upscaling it. So I like upscale to 3, and 4 is cool. I might not upscale 1. And let's look at this guy. This one's more gothic, like medieval. This is number 4 is really cool. Number 3 is cool. I'm gonna upscale all of them just to add to the portfolio. Now all these would look really cool if I change the aspect ratio to something different. Now if it doesn't go blue, sometimes it's loaded into there, and this is just giving me an error that's saying, hey buddy, you already clicked this, so stop it. We're thinking about it and doing it already. Leave us alone. So if you see an image of a art style that you like, that's 2 different ways you can do it. Photo bash technique, you know, loading it up in the plus function, getting it loaded into Discord, and then opening it up on its own individual page. just by clicking and then open in browser. Now this gives its image its own URL essentially, and then I can take that URL and drop it, and I can actually photo bash images together. Let me show you that. So let's say let's do puppies, or let's do this. Here we go. Two different things. Here's puppies. Oh, it's not gonna go. Where's it gonna work? All right, let's go back to my main ones. Here's Warhammer Dude, and here's the describe really bad version. It's really cool, but not Warhammer Dude, and we're gonna photo bash them together. So what I need to do is just go imagine, and I like to do my photo bashed images up front. So when I do that, so I'll go Warhammer Dude, just copy it, and then paste it in the prompt, and then separate it with a comma, and then find my second guy, this guy, copy his URL, copy, go Discord, drop this up so it's not covered. Now all this I realize is probably covered up by my head. Copy paste that, do another comma, and then let's add in something completely random. Holding a puppy. Let's see what that does. And then we're gonna really change this. Let's do a aspect ratio of 9:16. Holding a puppy while in a battle. Let's do a space battle. Okay, and just change the aspect ratio. So with this character prompt, I have a more verb and adjective based description, that I can do that because I already have kind of my subjects. I have two subjects, and it's going to take image 1 and image 2, and it's going to reference them and then combine them together, and then take my word prompt and kind of add in its own little thing, and then also incorporate the aspect ratio. Let's see what it came up with. Is it done? Looks done. Fast done. All right. Stop it. Here we go. All right. So it took the golds and took the Warhammer elements and really drastically changed. This guy looks like an Oompa Loompa wearing a hood with a two-headed puppy in the front. This one's got puppies all over, ready for battle. Also looking weird proportions. This one's a puppy in the armor with a dysmorphed flying seal. And then this guy is mixed between space helmet and a golden armor and a puppy for Majestic Pet. That's kind of hilarious. And that's one of the tricky parts about photo bashing. Too many things. It takes too many style elements and really starts coming up with some interesting thing. Best thing for as I'm kind of AI image prompter is just kind of really focus on your wording skills. That's what I've found. Like the best stuff is just find something you like, have AI describe it, learn from the word elements, play around with different styles yourself, but really focusing on the words to image elements of it instead of the image to words to re-image or bash them together. That's really starts making it look really wonky images, is in my opinion. A lot of this weirdness would go away if I just stuck with keywords. Like for this, if this was what I was going for, was like guy in armor in his 20s with, gold light coming from behind in a space battle with golden armor, doing blah, 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 and see what that comes up with. All right. Ooh, cool. Snag it all with that. Skull Punisher. All right. I think we're gonna. That's it for the mid journey for night. Off to playing some Ratchet and Clank. Now, I haven't had any. Cool. Alright, looks like I got a couple viewers over on Kick, so hey, thanks for hanging out and listening up. I hope you enjoyed the little discussion on Midjourney, and right now I'm going to switch over to Ratchet and Clank. Hope you enjoy. One of these days on Kick, I want to figure out how to change the describer. Any new weapons here? Nope, still the Rift. What am I got 51,000 bolts. I got nothing to really buy. So what I ended up doing yesterday was doing a little bit of tunnel searching, and that got me some bolts in the little tunnels, doing sewer crystal. I forgot this weapon's cool. A little auto function. after playing Ratchet and Clank 1, gravity boost is so different compared to the whole magnet boost. You can jump, you can strafe, do all kinds of things. Versus being kind of locked in. Let's see. Big old weird room. There we go. Go. Boss battle.
This is the testing laboratory for the Biobliterator.
Let's see what Nefarious has been up to.
Whoa! Like I never knew you were this kinky, Miss Gears.
Don't you ever shut up.
Okay, I'll zip it. Man, the guys aren't gonna believe this.
Like, destroy all squishies, dude.
What? They turned Skid into a robot? That's impossible!
Not for Dr. Nefarious.
Don't be afraid, Ratchet. The transformation doesn't hurt. Much. Besides, I think you'll enjoy being a robot.
Let's see if you can fight better than you can sing.
That looked like it hurt.
One disposable pop star disposed.
You okay, Clank?
Transmission from the Phoenix.
We've located Nefarious' star cruiser. It's refueling at the Zeldrin starport. Quark is already on his way there.
It might be a trap. I think Courtney Gears was setting us up. Even so, it could be our only chance to stop Nefarious. We'll meet Quark at the starport.
Be careful, Ratchet.
Come on, Clank. We'll come back for Skid later.
Like, destroy all squishies and stuff.
And stop. was it. One quick tunnel and then battle. What are my missions? Gotta go to the Zeldin Starport. I don't remember this guy. Oh, I think I do. Let's go back to the Phoenix. See if there's new armor. Nothing still.
Excuse me, can somebody make sure that there's coffee brewing in the cafeteria? I'm very disappointed.
Alright. Zeldin Spaceport it is.
Welcome to the Zeldin Starport.
Clear.
Passengers are limited to 2 carry-on weapons.
Ooh, what's the worst that can happen with here?
I thought we agreed to put that jungle business behind us. It was mating season. How could I have known she was your sister? How long have you two been standing there?
Too long.
Too long.
Well, stop lollygagging and let's get to work. We'll use this shuttle to infiltrate the Star Cruiser undetected. Once on board, we find Nefarious and finish the job. You fellas ready?
think I'll go off that second part.
forget to visit the duty-free shopping area. Your safety is important to us. Please stay clear of all decorative pools of lava.
That ended badly. I should double checked what's going on. Fuck. Alright. I think. I didn't even get halfway. And then the other one's gonna take me to the space station.
Loitering in the starport is...
I wonder how many weapons I haven't bought yet. I got a lot of space.
strictly forbidden.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the lava cannon. So that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what my missions are. This route leads to, I believe, the little mapper or the little bull grabber, which will be handy just because collecting bolts will be less time consuming. I'm kind of over it with Ratchet and Clank for the night. So I might call it good for night and then pick this up. Like you guys are still sticking around, please come hang out again. Hit up the chat, please. Alright, I'm gonna turn this game off and talk to you guys later.